Welcome to another All About Symbian videocast. Here we're covering the Sony Ericsson P1i. We're going to concentrate on the visual and the new features in this videocast. As you can see here, the Sony Ericsson P1i, which is the 5th P series phone, differs in the form factor from its predecessors. It's closer to the M600, although the functionality that's packed into this device is very similar to the P990. Indeed, there's been improvements in a few areas, such as the extra megapixels in the camera, up from 2 to 3.2. We're first going to focus on some of the new software that's available on this phone and note some of the new features before looking at some of the old standbys. Here we can see that there's now 15 standby shortcut applications instead of 5. There's also a more application shortcut that is more prominently displayed, which introduces new users to the idea of third-party applications. A major new application is Uniphone from OptiMobile, which is a SIP client which allows you to make voice over IP calls. Another new application is the DivX player that we'll take a quick look at now. The DivX player allows you to play back DivX formatted videos. The quality is pretty good and it supports full screen. This should make this phone a lot more attractive to those wanting to play back video on their phone and just enhances the multimedia feature of the device. Going back to the shortcut applications, we can have a look at the Blogger application. This allows you to post text and video up to a blogger.com blog. Going into the main menu now, we can see the familiar layout as before. And if we look at the camera application, we can see that this is pretty much the same as on the P990. The interface carries over much from the Sony CyberShot's digital camera range. It's pretty easy to use, and as you can see there's a camera capture button on the side. Overall, the performance of the camera is pretty impressive, with the capture time and the processing time being reasonably speedy. As we've seen there, that was a camera capture, all within a few seconds. You can also switch it into video mode. The UIQ3 phones are generally less capable in video than their S60 counterparts, but still produce acceptable output for most people. If we now go back to the main menu using the back key on the side there, we can have a look at some of the other applications. If we go into the entertainment, we can see the music player and the FM radio are present, along with some of the games, video player and other applications. The music player has been improved slightly over the P990 with a few usability tweaks. If we go into the messaging application, we can see that's pretty much unchanged, but it does allow us to demonstrate some of the unique features of the P1, which is the full QWERTY keyboard. There's 2 letters on each key, so it's a pivot-like keys. This might seem rather complicated, but in practice it works surprisingly well, and as with any phone keyboard, once you've got used to it after a few days, it will become the norm. You can achieve quite impressive speeds. One of the nice things about the P1i is the predictive text input software, which allows you to speed up your input by having the phone guess at what you're attempting to write. Again, this is something you'll have to get used to, but it does considerably speed text input once you're used to it. Going back to the standby screen, we can have a look at some of the other applications and shortcuts here. Here we're using the morphing. You can look at the connections as well as access some of the other features. The familiar shortcut menu is also present for turning on key lock and accessing Bluetooth and similar connections quickly. You can also see there's a Wi-Fi icon at the top, and if we click on it, normally you'll be using the stylus of course, better than my thumb, you can see the Wi-Fi settings here. If we go into settings, we can demonstrate how you can look for a Wi-Fi network quite quickly. It picks up on networks quickly, one of the impressive things that has been improved over the P990. Connecting to a network is a simple matter of pressing the connect button. The usual password and security protected networks are fully supported, as is the connection manager, which allows you to show how much data you're using on either a Wi-Fi or any of the cellular connections. The UIQ3 powered P1i is really everything that you wanted the P990 to be. It's a really impressive phone. The software is much more stable, it has more RAM, and as we can see here, the size is considerably improved over some of its predecessors. We've gone into more detail on the P1i in our text review. You can find this on the allaboutSymbian.com website. But overall, I think the P1i is a very promising phone and should do well.